People go missing in national parks all the time, and it's weird. So I'm sure you've heard this phenomenon. I've covered it on this channel myself, whereby people go hiking or rafting or climbing in these vast national parks in America, and they just disappear. Now, some of them, I'm sure, are untrained. They don't know what they're truly taking on. They don't have the survival skills necessary to survive. But a lot of them are highly conditioned, well-trained, well-experienced, and they just disappear. Some of these cases leave zero evidence. So some of them, yes, they'll find like the odd rucksack or something like that, but a lot of them, there will be no trace of these people ever again. Now, if you're like me, you'll think, well, that's a little bit odd, isn't it? So you have to ask, is it paranormal? Are they being abducted? Is there a Bigfoot in the hills that are just picking people up and running away with them? Or are they just slipping, falling, getting lost? We don't know, but we're going to look into some right now. Let's start with Teresa Gibson. On October the 8th, 1976, Teresa, at the age of 16 years old, went on a school trip. This was to the Great Smoky Mountains National Park. Now, in this national park, there is the Klingsman Dome, which is apparently an amazing observatory on top of a mountain, basically. And so the view is just unbelievable. And that is where they were going. But it's important to note, you know, yes, she was young, she was 16, but she was with adults. She was with teachers that were responsible for her well-being. Now, she was walking along with her friends, and they were a little bit slower than the rest, but they were still on the same given trail as everyone else. And a couple of her friends kind of wanted to rest, but Teresa wanted to crack on and get to this observatory tower. So she went ahead of them. So they're kind of behind the pack, but she's now ahead of the two girls that she left behind to rest. All makes sense? Now, it's important to note that this hiking trail, it wasn't like they're in the middle of nowhere, right? This was a well-known hiking trail. There were people not in her group that were hiking it all day. There were people in her group hiking it. So it's safe to say it was pretty straightforward where they were going. Now, this is something that you will hear a lot in the whole national park going missing thing, is that basically 1 minute Teresa was there, the next she disappeared off of the face of the earth. This trail, you know, there were cliff edges where she could have fallen off, granted, but she was still well within the vicinity of her classmates and the teachers, as well as random people walking on the trail, right? So if she'd have fallen off, she would have been heard, because if you fall off of a mountain, you probably scream a little bit, right? Plus, looking over the edge, there was no trace of, well, a deceased girl that fell off of a cliff. Now, granted, there were, you know, lots of people using this trail, but if she'd have been abducted, if she was screaming because she's being abducted, she would have been heard or certainly seen at some point by either the people in front or, in theory, would have to go back past the two girls that she was slowing down with. But no one saw anything or heard anything. Now, once obviously she was noted as missing, an investigation, you know, a search party was put together. A few locals came to try and help. It was foggy, it was misty, it was, you know, it wasn't the best conditions to try and find someone, and unfortunately they didn't find her. Now, a dog unit was brought along to try and find a trace of her, and weirdly, one of the dogs picked up her scent or a trace of her, but it went past where the dome was. So this would mean that Teresa would have had to have gotten to the dome, gone past some 40 classmates, and then disappeared. And yet she disappeared somewhere along the way to the dome, according to, well, when people last saw her. This is 1.5 miles further than where she was last seen. So she went 1.5 miles on this trail without being seen and then apparently disappeared. But after that, there was no trace, and she's never been seen since. Just going to quickly interrupt. I just want to give a shout out to my patron of the day, and my patron of the day today is Jesus. So Jesus, thank you so much for being a patron. I appreciate you. If you would like to become a patron, then please head on over to the Patreon. You get lots of bonus content and benefits and stuff for as little as £1 a month. So yeah, if you want to become a patron, the link is down below. So Morgan Heimer, incredibly skilled, incredibly well versed and experienced in this kind of life, the survival life. So much so, he actually worked for a rafting company in the vicinity where he went missing. He worked for Tour West, which was a rafting company on the Colorado River. So not only, you know, was he responsible for his own well-being when he was in this area, he was also responsible for others. That's how good he was, and that's how good he was at this stuff. You know, he was young, he was 22 years old, he was fit, he was healthy, he knew his stuff. So if anyone's going to disappear, probably wouldn't be this guy. Him and another tour guide, shall we call them, took out a party for a 8-day excursion. And on day 6 of this excursion, basically they were bringing in the rafts, he was at the back, and it was just like any other day. He knew exactly what he was doing. They brought the team back safely onto land, and this guy is having a chat apparently with his tour guide leader. So Morgan is chatting to the tour guide leader. We'll call him leader for the sake of this video. And apparently the leader left Heimer after chatting to him for a little bit to go and talk to, you know, this group of people that they were taking out on the excursion, make sure they're enjoying it, all the rest of it, and that everyone's, you know, happy. And then when he returns to go chat to Heimer again, he's disappeared off the face of the earth. 1 minute he was there, the next he was gone. Now initially wasn't really a concern because Heimer apparently had said to the leader that he wanted to take a little break, so a little coffee break, lunch break, whatever you want to call it. So you're not thinking too much into it because, well, he's probably just gone off for a little wander by himself, but he can handle himself, so who cares? Now, Morgan was an incredible swimmer, very strong swimmer, but he also had a life jacket on, and people started to get concerned when he didn't return for dinner. You know, it's like, well, it's been a while now, I don't think he's on a break anymore. So once they realised this guy's missing, they called the authorities, and a 6-day search was put in place, came back with nothing, and, well, Morgan has been missing since June the 2nd, 2015. Ruth Ann Rupert. So Ruth Ann was in Yosemite National Park having a vacation in August of 2000. She was a very experienced climber. She was always climbing very, very high places. I personally don't see the appeal. If you're a big climber, let me know down below. I would love to know why you enjoy it so much. I'm not judging, it's just not for me. By all accounts, and by her experience level, Yosemite is not difficult for her. So it should have been a walk in the park or a climb up the ladder. I don't know. Is there a walk in the park reference for climbers? Let me know down below. Now, originally the plan was that she was going to join a group of trekkers and go across backpacking for 30 miles across Yosemite, right? But tragically, in the morning of when they were due to set off, she had an eye infection, so she had to withdraw from the group. But this wasn't going to be the end for her vacation, so she apparently rented a tent cabin in Curry Village.
It is thought she may have gone on a day hike from Yosemite Falls to the Forester area,
and, would you believe it, was never, ever seen again. Now, all of her, you know, pieces of equipment, her food, etc. were left behind, which would imply that she wasn't, you know, going off on a trek, because you wouldn't leave supplies like that behind. That is literally a death sentence. Also, her family claims that she was of perfectly sound mind. She would never ever commit suicide or anything like that. And also, yes, obviously she'd be disappointed about the eye infection and having to miss out on the trek, but it wouldn't have affected her that badly. Authorities are called, search party is put in place, nothing comes back. They find nothing, no one, nada. Until 8 years later, her backpack was found in a place called Fireplace Creek. Now, Fireplace Creek is almost
11.5 miles
away from Curry Village, where she was last seen. Now, how her backpack ended up in this place 8 miles away, and also where she is, still to this day, remains a massive mystery. What do you guys think about these three individuals? What do you think happened to them? I would love to know your thoughts down below, and if you'd like more content like this, then do let me know and I will certainly provide. Thank you so much for watching. I really do appreciate it. If you enjoyed this, like, share and subscribe. Thank you to all my patrons. I am going to be starting a Patreon exclusive podcast very, very soon, so head over there for just £1 a month if that sounds like your cup of tea, as well as those behind the scenes and stuff that you already get over on the Patreon. Okay, thank you so much guys. I'll see you very soon. Sweet one. Geese.